Hey guys, so today I am going to be making these overstuffed, almost colossal sized crab stuffed mushrooms for you guys that have Parmesan cheese in them and white sharp cheddar cheese. Okay, so we're going to start off with one packet of cream cheese, 1 cup of Parmesan cheese shredded. If you don't have shredded, you can use like the grated kind if you like, but the shredded just gives you a better texture. Okay. And as you guys could see, my youngest daughter is helping herself to the cheese. Oh gosh. Okay. And then the next cup of cheese you're going to be using is sharp white cheddar cheese. And she needed to try that also. And then you're going to go in with your crab meat. Okay, I'm using 1 cup of crab claw instead of lump crab because the crab claw has way more crab flavor if you prefer more crab flavor. If you don't prefer more crab flavor, definitely get the lump if you like. But I prefer this because it actually tastes like crabs and not just, some white meat with very mild crab flavor. Okay. Then I'm going to go in with a ½ teaspoon of smoked paprika. And then I'm going to go in with a ½ teaspoon of garlic powder, a ½ teaspoon of black pepper, ground black pepper, and about a ½ teaspoon of kosher salt, okay? I'm also going to put in a good amount of parsley. Let's say this fits in about a ½ cup, okay? But a good amount of parsley, and I'm cutting the stems and all. The only part of the stem that I don't use is the part that's closest to where it's harvested. But yeah, cut everything up really nice and fine and add it into your bowl. Then we're going to go in with 1 cup of plain panko crumbs. You can use the seasoned kind if you like, but I'm using plain because I already added seasoning to this. The crab claw already has a taste to it. Okay. The cheeses have salt in them, so don't want it to become too salty. Okay. So we're just going to roughly mix this together. And it would be best if your cream cheese is room temperature. At this point, I had used it and it was not all the way room temperature. So it did make it a little bit harder to mix this together. But make sure it's room temperature so it's nice and soft for you to mix everything together. Then I'm going to go in with a ½ cup of real mayonnaise. And you're going to mix this together. This is going to help bind everything together along with that cream cheese. And by the way, excuse me for sounding winded or like I can't breathe. I am almost 9 months pregnant. So we're past the 8.5 month stage. So we're on our way to 9 months. So it's kind of hard to breathe without taking deep breaths to to talk. Okay. All right. So we get this all mixed up like this. And then you're going to go ahead and stuff your mushrooms. Make sure you clean your mushrooms. I know the internet says to wipe them off. I wash my mushrooms, okay? They grow in dirt. I will wash them with just plain water and I will wash them. This is why I can't have a TV show because I kept looking at this and I'm like, this looks like a booty. Anyways, just pop out the inside part. And I actually use the inside part. I use that to saute with onions and some Worcestershire sauce. I hope I said that right. Butter, salt and pepper after I make my steaks, and it's absolutely delicious to add it on top of your steaks. Okay. So yeah, so this is how I just remove the inside of the mushrooms, and then we're going to stuff them. You're going to really pack it in the first part. Okay. Pack it in really, really well, all of them like that. It doesn't have to be a high dome right away. Whatever's left, that's what you're going to use to make it higher, to make them bigger, okay? Or overstuff them, basically. All right, so once you have them all filled, what is left in the bowl is what you're going to use to make a dome on top of them. So you're going to continue to pack them in and try to get even amounts on all of them so you have enough for all of the mushrooms. And then you're going to make like a little dome on top. If you want to add more crab meat, go right ahead. If you are a crab meat lover, okay, well, crab meat filling lover, okay. So we're going to add them in our baking sheet like this. And make sure you have your oven preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And you're going to bake them for about 20 minutes uncovered. That's the steak I was going to make with them. But you're going to bake them for 20 minutes uncovered. This is going to help build a crust on top. So that's how it should look. And then when you take it out, you're going to bake it again covered for 10 minutes. I basically use another pan to cover this to build up steam in there. And this is going to help, you know, make it moist on the inside. So you get the crust on top and the moisture on the inside, and the mushroom gets to fully cook inside. Okay, and this is how it looks. It's super easy to make, tastes absolutely amazing, tastes like it took you hours to do. So if you make a steak with a couple of these on the side, and maybe make my macaroni and cheese, which there is a video for, so check previous upload, you will definitely impress some people, your kids, your husband, your significant other, somebody you want to marry you, I don't know. But anyways, I ended up eating this with my steak cut up after searing it, my macaroni and cheese, and this is how it looks actually the next day after being in the fridge and cutting it open. I simply just warm them up in the air fryer or the microwave, whichever you choose, and they're just like, you know, fresh, like you just made them. So this is the amount of stuffing that's in each mushrooms, and this was me eating and the next day and how it looked, and this was macaroni the next day from that recipe that I shared with you guys. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you very soon in another video. Bye guys.